I did. I mean, the story goes, I mean, anyone that's a super fan of mine will know that I have a partner named Jungle George, and we've been collaborating on videos and music for our relationship, which is like, you know, we did Bitch Video together, we did Paper Love, Old Habits, like there's all the rage, tons of stuff. And so he and I were in Oakville, which is outside of Toronto, and we drove to Niagara for the day just to do something fun. It was like summer 2016. And he's like, you should write a song called Super Duper Party People. And I was like, yeah, I should. That's so cool. And then we were like, what would it sound like? What would it sound like? We couldn't think of anything. And then just like let the idea go. But I never let an idea go. I never do. I always have it stored up there. So cut to a year later, I'm in Denmark doing a writing camp. And I have my iTunes shuffle on. And this beat comes on, just a loop really, from Oliver Goldstein, who's in the DJ producer duo Oliver, and it was so fucking cool. It was the bass line for Super Duper that we ended up using, the dun 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 dun, and I heard it and I was like, that's Super Duper Party People. Like I remembered the thing from a year before and I was like, that's it. And so I called George up on Skype. I think it was the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep. I was really jet lagged. And we just started, like, it was just hilarious. I played it over Skype. He was like, that's so cool. And we were just like making jokes. I was like rapping. I was like, there's a man to the left with beer on his breath with his hands in a bowl of nuts. And like, and then he was like, what about like a rockabilly kiss? And what about Little Miss Bliss? And I was like, yes, yes. Anyway, I made this really shitty demo in Ableton right then, just using like the built-in mic. There's all this feedback. It doesn't even loop properly. It was so bad that I couldn't send it to anyone on my team because I just know that something like that, people would have no idea. Like, even if I sent it to you at that time, like, what is this? Like, it was just so shitty. And then I think I put out collection 2, I put out collection 2, I put out Super Sunset, and it just never really fit in. And I think I was trying to finish it, but not getting any response. And so then cut to 2019 in April, and I'm finishing Cape God, and I'm like listening to it, and I'm so into it, so proud of it. But I'm like, this needs a bop. This needs to have Super Duper Party People on it. And I sent the shitty demo to Oscar, and luckily he heard the potential, and then it became a whole other super fun thing because all the guys at the studio in Stockholm were like doing backup vocals on it. Like Julius, the studio manager, he was like, super duper, and it's like in his Swedish accent. And then it started to like influence how I was singing. And so I started super duper, and I don't know. It was just overall, like, when I think of Super Duper Party People, it's just like been a fun journey. There's not one like negative memory associated with it. Then I started performing it live, and like the fans are like loving it even though they don't know it. So I think that might be the fan favorite as well. That'll be the cult classic for sure. I love that song.
So other than Cape God just needing a banger,
yeah,
why is it on the record?
Well, conceptually, if you get into the second half of the record, there's sort of a party that goes on. So it starts with Super Duper Party People, and you're like painting the picture of this kind of wacky, wild party. And I'm also, in that song, I'm sort of like referencing people from my past, not by name, and like slightly making fun, I guess, and making fun of myself as well. And then you get into Susie Save Your Love, which is kind of like a more about like love. And then you get into Life of the Party, which is the super dark lyric. And that whole chunk of the record is dedicated to a party that happened. So that's where it fits in conceptually.